A 4K action camera for $50? Is it even possible? Let's find out. The Eken quote-unquote 4K action camera is one of many Chinese action cameras you can get from sites like GearBest or Amazon. So GearBest actually reached out and asked me to review this action camera, and they actually sent this one for free for me to review it, but as you're probably going to find out, this will not affect my review in any way. It's definitely cheap, retailing for about $50 on GearBest right now. The initial presentation is definitely nice. It comes with all standard GoPro style accessories, including various adapters and mounts, a waterproof case, a bike handle mount, a USB charger and micro USB cable, and even a remote control. It records on a micro SD card, although they don't include one in the box, so you will have to supply your own. It sports a lens with a 170-degree field of view, and it's advertised to be able to record up to 4K 30 FPS. It does have a screen, although not a very good one. It's low resolution and the viewing angles are not the best. Moreover, the screen isn't actually that bright, so using it under direct sunlight is kind of a mess. For the price, I wouldn't even expect a screen, so I can't really complain. It charges via micro USB and it can be operated while charging, which is a nice bonus. The battery itself is already installed out of the box, but it is removable and you can change it, and it seems to be a pretty standard issue action camera battery for these Chinese generic action cameras. The battery life itself is actually pretty good. I was able to record like half a day on and off with about half a battery charge. It supports different resolutions, 4K and 1440p at 30 FPS, 1080p at 30 or 60 FPS, and 720p at 120 FPS. Apart from video recording, it's also capable of taking photos, bursts, and time lapses. Now, these are the actual features. Now let's get to the review. The overall impression I had from using this action camera is very simple. I'm disappointed. First off, it claims to support 4K, but it actually doesn't. When you try to record 4K, it actually just upscales badly a 1080p video to the point that it's unusable, not even if you scale it back to 1080p. It's full of JPEG artifacts and the quality is really terrible. I mean, the worst phone you could buy for like even $50 takes better 4K video probably. As for the 1080p recording, it's actually pretty decent. I mean, the video quality is there provided you have enough light, but the real issue that makes this camera mostly unusable is the lack of any stabilization whatsoever. If you try to record handheld, or if you want to attach this to something like a bike or in your car dash, it just won't work. It's so shaky, it actually gives me motion sickness just by looking at the video. The slow motion 120 FPS feature seemed interesting, but I don't know if it's because it's 720p, but I doubt it. I think it's probably more to do with bitrate. The quality is actually pretty bad. So you can take 120 FPS video, you can slow it down to 30 FPS and get some nice slow motion, but I mean the quality is really bad. I wouldn't actually use this for anything myself. It's probably best if you record with a proper camera or a phone at 60 FPS and slow it down to 30 if you want something resembling slow motion. One other weird thing about this camera is that it only supports the MJPEG video codec. This is the first camera I see that uses this codec, and I'm not really sure what to make of it. According to Wikipedia, it's not as computationally intensive as other codecs, but at the same time it's fairly inefficient in terms of actual space. But I mean, at the end of the day, it works, and this is the least of problems, really. One other possible use for an action camera is obviously using it underwater, also given that they include the actual waterproof cage with the camera itself. So fortunately I live in a sea area and I was able to test these underwater functionality, and as I was expecting, the lack of stabilization is less noticeable or less of a problem underwater. And the actual footage itself, it's not very clear, mostly because like the fishes that were recorded were very small and the whole underwater landscape wasn't that exciting to begin with. But anyway, the video quality is decent. The biggest problem that will actually make me not recommend this camera for underwater use is that when I took it out of the waterproof cage, it was actually wet with salty water. And at first I hoped it was some condensation, but I actually tasted the water and it was salty. It was definitely seawater. So I don't know how you can make a waterproof case and make it leak so badly that the camera was actually this whole front part was covered in salty water. Fortunately, and I have to suppose it was just sheer luck, the actual camera wasn't damaged by the water, nor any other component like the micro USB or micro HDMI ports or the micro SD card. None of them were damaged, but I mean, I wouldn't really try my luck again and use this camera underwater again. Mostly for the SD card at this point, because the rest of the camera is practically not worth anything in my opinion. Maybe you can think about using this as a webcam replacement if you use like an HDMI capture card, but even compared with my Logitech C920 webcam, it just doesn't cut it. The quality is really bad, and I'd rather use my C920, even if it is kind of mediocre at this point as far as video quality goes. This isn't any better. Plus, if you try to use an HDMI capture card, the HUD showing like the time and information like that still shows even through the HDMI, so I mean, you can't really use this as a webcam anyway, nor record externally from it. To summarize, I didn't really find any suitable use for this action camera, even for the price. I mean, maybe if you really have to find a good use for it or decent use for it, maybe using it on a tripod for time lapses could be an idea. The quality isn't great, but at least you can operate it like when it's charging, so there's that. Maybe if you want like a cheap dash cam for something, if you want to mount it on your car, but again, the lack of stabilization makes this use case kind of unlikely in my opinion. Honestly, again, I was very disappointed by this camera. I wouldn't recommend it. Maybe if it goes on sale for like $20, $25, you can consider buying this for a kid to play around with. But honestly, I wouldn't consider this for any kind of real video recording or photos or anything. Again, this is less than a toy in my opinion. Instead of buying something like this, you can probably use a phone and the results you will get from it are probably better no matter the phone you have. I wouldn't really recommend you buy this. I will leave the link in the description from the GearBest just for reference, I guess, but don't buy it. So guys, this is gonna wrap it up for this video. Thank you very much for watching, I really appreciate it. If you like this video, please make sure to press the thumbs up button down there, and also remember to subscribe to my channel if you want more of this. Also make sure to check out the TechPills website at techpills.technology, as well as the awesome TechPills community at techpills.technology/community. Again guys, thanks for watching and I'll be seeing you in the next one.